What's good, y'all? Ultimate Legends roster rolling on again. This is number 15, and that's prime Steve Nash. 06-07, 18.6 points a game, 11.6 assists. Look at the shooting, though. 53% from the field overall, 45% from three-point range. He was 32 years old, but get this, he shot 92% from the free throw line, too. I was sitting here going through this with my kid, right? And he was like, wow, he shot that high from, I was like, yeah, I mean, Steve Nash is arguably, I don't think somebody could call you crazy if you said this. He's arguably the greatest shooter in the history of the game. I mean, yeah, you're going to get your Reggie Miller people, your Steph Curry people, and you know, Glenn Rice people and stuff like that. But 45% from three-point range, over 50% from the field, 90% from the line. I mean, it just does not get much better than that. There's a small, very small sample size of. I don't know how many people have ever done that. I mean, I think Steph might be the only other dude. I gotta look that up, but that's pretty sick. You understand? So he got a 90 overall. But as we scroll through these ratings, you're gonna see where the dip off comes, because I hooked them up on pretty much almost every offensive category. But you're gonna see when we get to the defense, there's where Steve gets real human. So, you know, as nobody's perfect, is a balance to, you know, to a balance to this for sure. But the numbers that he put up that year, and really for about a 5-year stretch, he was something else. To be just frank with you, don't be Frank, be Steve. I'm telling you, it was ridiculous. 22 badges. The bank is open, you know, just look at them. I mean, it's a ton of them. 7 of them are gold. I had to do it. And he was 32. So technically, he was past his physical prime, but still in the prime overall. Now, the man who was essentially I kind of have a lead guy, you know, for every episode, right? The lead guy this episode was Brandon Roy. He's one of those guys, and I didn't think I did that great a job on Steve Nash, just to be honest. It's very hard to make the Caucasians. They don't let you make the nose thin enough for those guys, and Nash is super thin nose. But I thought I did a pretty good job on Brandon Roy. And even I asked people online, I said, who is this? They was like, Brandon Roy. Now, I realized that the generic jersey is the same color as the Portland jersey, so that might have been a little bit of a giveaway. But the 08-09 season, Roy had a great year. 22.6 points a game, 5.1 rebounds, 4.7 assists. But shortly after that, that's when the knee problems would kick in and just rob him of the rest of his career, or, you know, quality the rest of his career. Now, I don't like the jump shot form, so you're going to see some videos at the end. I'm really not a fan of the jump shot form that I had then, so you're getting some live look in with me actually trying to find a better jump shot form. I was looking at a lot of videos trying to see exactly, because it did look like his right leg after release kind of does go forward some, but the form I chose originally and the one you'll see in the actual video is a little bit exaggerated. It doesn't go that much forward, and he does stay squared up when he shoots. So the one in the video, he kind of doesn't stay squared up. It turns his shoulder in, so I wasn't really feeling that. So I wanted to get something a little bit better. I think I found something better, but wanted to capture the fact that off the dribble, Brandon Roy is something else. Really, off the dribble, he was a tough cover. Crossovers, behind the backs, in and out dribbles, hesitation, pull-ups, that sort of thing. He had an array of moves. He's also a better athlete than he was originally given credit for. I mean, he's not exactly Gerald Green or nothing when, you know, before the knees started hitting him, but he certainly wasn't what you would call a poor athlete either. So the guy could really ball. He could really ball, and he had a heck of a year this particular year. And, you know, shot well from the field, shot well from three-point range, rebounded, passed the ball well. The thing that really got me for him, and I think really kind of contributed to him having as high a rating as he got, so you're going to see what that is, as much as he handled the ball that season, he only averaged 1.9 turnovers per game. That's really, really rare for a big-time scorer like him, and a guy who had the ball in his hand as much as Brandon Roy had the ball in his hand in that particular year. So that was big for me, and that's a big reason why he got the 85. Gave him 16 badges. 9 of them are gold. So he's a good player. Very, very good player. Now, one thing you guys got to realize, some people say, so you're saying Brandon Roy is better than Tracy McGrady? Not exactly. I mean, all around, that's a conversation. If you talk about Brandon Roy continuing his career or whatever, that's a conversation. I mean, T-Mac was an explosive, ridiculous scorer, absolutely. But he wasn't the defender that you would have, he could have been based off his length and athleticism. He was a good passer, but I don't know. Was he a better passer than Brandon Roy? I don't know. It's a better athlete for sure than Brandon Roy, But, I mean, I think it's close in there. But what you got to realize, we're talking about singular seasons. And we're also looking at stuff like field goal percentage, 3-point field goal percentage, turnovers. If you just look at, he averaged blah, 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 blah amount of points a game. Well, it's a lot of stuff that goes into that. Who's on the floor with you, all that kind of stuff. And doesn't mean you're faster than this guy, quicker than this guy, whatever. So you got to think about that as well. And I'm really looking at numbers very hard when I do these ratings. I'm looking at numbers for this specific season. That's why I'm putting up the season statistics, because I'm giving you an overview of it, but this is what it's based on. Last but not least, Hot Rod Strickland. I don't like this one. I couldn't get the eyes right for nothing. The 94-95 season, 18.9 points a game, 8.8 rebounds, 8.8 assists, 5 rebounds. 28 years old. Strickland was blazing fast. Went to DePaul in Chicago. Off the dribble, just a demon. It was never a great shooter, though. He was just decent. This actually, the 94-95 season, one of the reasons I picked this is, I believe, like his best statistical year from 3-point range. I think it was like 37% or something like that. Best year. He had a lot of 23s and 30%. So erratic on the jump shots, and he never took a ton of threes anyway. So, but what his game was off the dribble. He was blazing fast. Nice crossover moves, a little stronger than, maybe you might think, but really able to create for his team off the dribble and for himself. So he was explosive. I remember watching Kenny Smith talk about guarding Rod Strickland. Kenny Smith known as a pretty good defender. And he was like, man, Rod was one of the toughest covers in the NBA in the 90s. And that's saying something, He's like, at point guard position, Rod Strickland was one of the toughest covers in the league. I mean, this is coming from a guy who knows the game. Kenny knows the game. And also was a pretty decent player himself. Wasn't a bad athlete, anything like that. Say that, Rod was one of the toughest covers at his position is quite the compliment. So, as you see the ratings here, he got an 83, I think that is. I got a little bit shrunk down a little bit. Ended up with 20 badges. A lot of them are about playmaking, speed, and that sort of thing. Now we're coming up on the video footage, or show you a little bit of a highlights of the guys playing. I got the sound is down kind of low, so I cranked it up a little bit. I want you to be able to hear some of this. So I'm going to let you go and see Steve Nash throw this pass down low to Miles Plumlee for the two-hand slam. I'm going to let you guys take a look at what I got here. And, of course, you know what it's time for. It's time for the hint for the next episode. I got 2 younger versions of guys coming, but the hint is about this guy actually did. Now, he didn't do it well, but he actually did a cartwheel. A cartwheel in the dunk contest. So look back, maybe you remember it, maybe you saw it. Look back over at the annals through YouTube of the dunk contest. Try to find somebody to do a cartwheel. He will be featured in the next episode. Who is that guy? I appreciate y'all watching. Y'all subscribe, follow. Peace.
The Suns have gone 3 of 5 shooting the ball so far. Just floating to the rim on that slam.
Boy, when he gets up and stays up.
Boy, smooth and graceful. How about the hang time? That's impressive.
And it's blocked. They retain possession. Nash with no one around. That's in, coming off the assist from Johnson. Second spot in the conference. A great season for them so far. And of course the Suns, 8 games out.
I think for the Trailblazers, they're really quite an incredible success story. After coming results have been